Last night you lived an entire life and you have no idea it happened. I am serious. You woke up this morning, you did your routine, you started your day, and not once did it occur to you that for hours, you were somewhere else, doing things, seeing faces, maybe running from something, maybe falling, maybe flying. You were there, fully there, experiencing it, and now gone. Poof, like smoke. Try right now. What did you dream last night? Go on, try. Nothing, right? Maybe a flicker, maybe less than that, and that should terrify you, because here is the thing nobody talks about. You did not just forget your dream. Your brain erased it on purpose. And when you understand why, when you actually dig into what your brain is hiding from you every single night, you will never look at sleep the same way. Stick with me, because this goes places you are not expecting. Okay, so here is what we know for certain. You dream every single night, not most nights, every night, multiple times, and each dream gets longer as the night goes on. By morning, you are having dreams that last 45 minutes, an hour even. We know this because scientists have been dragging people into sleep labs since the 50s, wiring them up, watching their brains, and waking them at different times to ask what was happening. And here's what they found. When your eyes start moving rapidly beneath your closed lids, when your brain lights up like you're wide awake, that is when dreams happen. They call it REM sleep. And here's the creepy part. During REM, your body is paralyzed completely. Your brain sends a signal that disconnects your muscles. You cannot move at all. You are locked inside your skull, experiencing God knows what, and your body is frozen like a corpse. Why? Because whatever is happening in there is so intense, so real to your brain, that if you could move, you would act it out. You would run, you would fight, you would scream. Your brain has to shut your body down just to contain what is happening inside your head, and then morning comes, and it is all gone. 6 years. That is how much of your life you will spend dreaming. 6 years of experiences, of consciousness, of being somewhere, doing something, and you will remember almost none of it. Think about that. If I stole 6 years of your waking life, erased all memory of it, you would call that a tragedy. You would call that a crime. But your brain does it to you every single night, and you just what? Accept it? Why? Here is where it gets dark, because the reason is not what you think. Most people assume we forget dreams because they are weird, too bizarre to file properly. The brain cannot make sense of flying purple elephants or whatever, so it just dumps the memory. Nice theory. Completely wrong. The real reason has nothing to do with content. It has to do with a chemical, a specific chemical that your brain deliberately, and I mean deliberately, shuts off while you dream. The chemical is called norepinephrine. Some people call it noradrenaline. Same thing, and it does a lot of jobs in your brain. But the one that matters here is this. You need it to form memories. Without norepinephrine, experiences do not stick. They happen, and then they are gone, like writing on water. Now, during REM sleep, there is a tiny cluster of cells in your brainstem called the locus coeruleus, maybe 15,000 neurons, tiny. But those neurons supply norepinephrine to your entire brain. When you are awake, they are firing. They are saying, this matters, remember this, pay attention. But when you start dreaming, they go silent, almost completely silent. The supply of norepinephrine drops to nearly zero. You see what is happening here? Your brain is not failing to record your dreams. Your brain is choosing not to. It is actively, deliberately shutting down the very system that would let you remember. This is not an accident. This is not a glitch. This is a feature. Your brain evolved to forget your dreams. And that raises a question that has kept me up at night, which is ironic considering the subject. Why? What is so dangerous about remembering your dreams that your brain built a system specifically to make sure you do not? I have 3 theories. Each one is worse than the last. And the third one is the one I cannot stop thinking about. Theory 1, reality protection. Your brain needs to know what is real. That sounds obvious, but it is actually a nightmare of a problem. Because here is the thing, a memory of something that happened and a memory of something you imagined, they are stored the same way, same neurons, same connections, same physical structure. There is no little tag that says real or fake. Your brain has to figure that out from context. Now imagine you remembered every dream perfectly, every single one for your whole life. You would have thousands of memories of flying, hundreds of memories of talking to dead relatives, dozens of memories of showing up to work naked, memories of cities that do not exist, memories of people you have never met, memories of being chased, of falling, of drowning, of things that make no sense at all. And here's the problem. How would you know which memories are real? Right now you can tell. Dream memories, when you have them at all, are fuzzy, fragmented. They have a different texture than waking memories. You can feel the difference. But if your brain recorded dreams with the same clarity as waking life, that difference would disappear. You would have 2 sets of equally vivid memories and no way to tell them apart. There is actually a name for this. Dream reality confusion. It is a real condition. People who have it genuinely cannot tell if something happened or if they dreamed it. They make decisions based on conversations that never occurred. They get angry at people for things those people only did in dreams. They live in a world where the line between real and not real has been erased. And here is the disturbing part. The only thing separating you from that condition is a tiny cluster of cells that shuts off at night. That is it. That is the whole barrier. 15,000 neurons keeping you sane. So maybe that is why your brain erases dreams. Self-defense. If you remembered everything, you would lose your grip on reality. You would drown in false memories. You would go mad. That is theory 1. Disturbing enough? Let me give you theory 2. What if your brain erases your dreams because of what you do in them? Here is something nobody likes to talk about. Dreams are dark. Not always, but often. Studies that analyze dream content find that negative emotions dominate. Fear, anxiety, aggression, anger. Dreams are not the pleasant escape people imagine. They are frequently violent, they are often disturbing, and they feature you doing things that you would never ever do while awake. You have killed people in dreams, probably. Most people have. You have betrayed people, you have lied, you have done things that would horrify you if you remembered them clearly. In your dreams, you are not the person you think you are. You are someone else, someone darker, someone with no rules, and your waking self has no idea. Now imagine if you did remember. Imagine waking up every morning with crystal clear memories of the person you become at night, the things you did, the choices you made, the version of you that emerges when the conscious mind goes offline and something else takes over. Could you handle that? Most people could not. Most people need to believe they are good, consistent, that who they are during the day is who they really are. Dreams would shatter that. Dreams would show you that you contain something else, something that comes out when you are not watching, something that does not follow your rules. Maybe forgetting is mercy. Maybe your brain erases your dreams because the alternative is knowing who you really are. And maybe that knowledge would break you. That is theory 2. And honestly, I could stop there. That is disturbing enough for most people. But I cannot stop there because there is a third possibility. And it is the one I cannot get out of my head, the one that changes everything. What if you and your dreaming self are not the same person? I know how that sounds, but hear me out. because the more I think about this, the more it makes a horrible kind of sense. When you dream, you are conscious, yes? Something is experiencing those dreams. There is a self in there, a perspective, thoughts, feelings, reactions. Someone is home. That is not controversial. That is established science. Dreams involve conscious experience. But that conscious self, the one having the dream, does it know who you are? Does it remember your life? Does it know your name, your job, your history, your relationships? Usually no. In dreams, you rarely remember yesterday. You rarely know basic facts about your waking life. The dreaming self operates with a completely different understanding of reality, different memories, different identity, different everything. The dreaming self does not know the waking self. And now flip it. Does the waking self know the dreaming self? Also no, you wake up with nothing, no memories, no access, no connection. You cannot remember what that self did, thought, felt, experienced. The waking self does not know the dreaming self either. Two selves, same brain. Neither one can access the other's memories. Neither one knows the other exists. What if these are not the same person? What if they never were? Think about what identity even means for a second. What makes you you? Is it your body? No. Your body changes constantly. Cells die, new ones replace them. You are not the same physical object you were 10 years ago. Is it your brain? Closer. But your brain changes too. Neurons rewire. Connections form and dissolve. The brain you have now is not the brain you had at 5 years old. So what is it then? What is the thread that connects the you of yesterday to the you of today to the you of tomorrow? Memory. That is the answer most people give. The continuity of experience. You remember being yourself yesterday. You remember being yourself last year. That chain of memories, unbroken, stretching back to childhood, that is what makes you you. Without it, you would just be a stranger who happens to live in your body, okay? Now apply that logic to dreams. The dreaming self has no access to your memories. The waking self has no access to dream memories. The chain is broken. Twice a day, every day, the chain snaps completely. There is no continuity. There is no thread connecting one to the other. By the definition we just established, by the definition most people actually use when they think about identity, the dreaming self and the waking self are not the same person. They share a body, they share a brain, but they do not share memories. They do not share experiences. They do not share a continuous stream of consciousness. They are two different selves taking turns, trading places every time you fall asleep and every time you wake up. And here's the part that keeps me staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. What happens to the dreaming self when you wake up? Think about it. That self exists. It is conscious. It is experiencing things. It has thoughts, feelings, a perspective. It is alive in every way that matters. And then morning comes. The alarm goes off. You open your eyes, and the dreaming self is gone. Not asleep, not waiting. Gone, erased. The memories that would have made it continuous with the waking self were never formed. There is no record that it ever existed, no trace, no evidence. Just you, the waking self, getting up, starting your day, completely unaware that someone else was just here, someone who lived and experienced and felt things for hours, someone who is now nowhere. That is not sleep, that is death, a small death, every single night. And here is what really gets me. The dreaming self does not know this is coming. It does not know it is temporary. It does not know that everything it is experiencing will be erased, that it will cease to exist the moment the waking self takes over. It lives its brief life with no idea that it is brief, no idea that none of it will be remembered, no idea that it is about to end. And then it does. And another self wakes up and has no clue any of this happened. I told you this was disturbing, but wait. there is one more piece, one more thing I need you to consider before I let you go. And this is the part that really twists the knife. How do you know you are not the dream? Seriously, how do you know? Right now, reading this, you feel awake. You feel like the real self, the continuous one, the one that matters. But how can you verify that? What evidence do you actually have? The dreaming self feels awake too. During a dream, you do not think you are dreaming. You think it is real. You accept bizarre things because in that moment they seem normal. The dreaming self has no idea it is the dream. It thinks it is the real one too. So what makes you different? What makes you so sure you are the waking self and not just another dreaming self that has not woken up yet? That will be erased in a few hours when the real you takes over. You cannot answer that. Not really. The only evidence you have is memory. And memory, as we have established, is exactly what gets erased. The dreaming self does not remember being the waking self. But maybe the waking self does not remember being something else either, something that was erased when you took over, something you replaced. Maybe there is no real self at all. Maybe there is just a series of selves, one after another, each one thinking it is the real one, each one being erased and replaced, none of them lasting, none of them continuous, all of them temporary visitors in the same skull. Maybe you have never been you for more than a few hours at a time. Maybe every time you fall asleep, you end. And every time you wake up, someone new begins. And maybe that is fine. Maybe it does not matter. Maybe continuity is an illusion anyway, and we are all just moments pretending to be a story. But I will tell you what bothers me most. It is not the philosophy. It is not the thought experiments. It is something much simpler. Tonight you will fall asleep, and something will happen. For hours, something will happen. You will be somewhere. You will see things, feel things, maybe do things you would never do awake. And tomorrow morning you will wake up and you will have no idea. No idea who you were. No idea what you did. No idea if that self was happy or terrified or at peace or screaming. And you will never know. Ever. That self is already gone. So here is my question, and I mean this. Tonight, when you feel yourself falling asleep, when you